Hola guys, so the aim today is to make sweet potato cinnamon sugar donut muffin. So we're gonna start with a 1/3 cup of milk. I usually like to use like some coconut milk mixed with a little bit of water to make up that 1/3 cup. But what I have on hand today is almond milk. We're gonna mix that with a 1/2 cup of oil. So back in the day when I used to make when my mom was teaching me to make things like banana bread and carrot cake, I know a lot of people, and sometimes I even do, use butter when I'm making banana breads and cakes, and I use butter when I'm making carrot cakes even, but that wasn't the way that I learned it, so I'm kind of going back to the old school. You can use coconut oil instead of, I'm using canola, that's what I have in hand. You can use coconut oil. I wouldn't suggest using an oil that has a very strong flavor like olive oil, nope, unless that's what you're going for, of course. So apart from that, I'm going to add to this because I do this with all my sort of vegan recipes, and I think a lot of people do this anyways. But just to help the rise, add 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. I like to use 2 teaspoons in my mix. A lot of recipes call for 1 teaspoon, I like to use 2. Now I'm going to add vanilla essence to taste. Some people don't like tasting a lot of essence, so you can use anywhere between 1/2 to 3 teaspoons. Alright guys, so that's it for the liquid ingredients. And basically, I'm just going to whisk these babies together like so. So the next thing we're going to do is get our dried ingredients together. And as you can see, we have some mashed sweet potatoes here. I would say this is about 1 medium to 1.5 medium sweet potatoes, or 1.5. I think the one was large and one was like a medium size. This is about, I don't know, 380 grams of sweet potatoes, somewhere around there. But this is 2 medium sweet potatoes I'm using here. So guys, I have 3 cups of flour here, and in this I have 1 heaping teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. If I had some cardamom, I would probably add some cardamom, but I don't have any. I don't know, cardamom is the hardest thing to find. Like, you can't find cardamom in your just average supermarket. I've even been into Whole Foods and tried looking for cardamom there, can't find it there. So I'm going to try some online sources. The 1 container of cardamom that I've ever had in my pantry, I got from a local market. I think it was in Philly. But in addition to that, I have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And we're just gonna mix all of that in there. I already used my whisk in the wet ingredients, so I'm just gonna use spatula and mix that up. Why am I always like, I like accents, I don't know. But so, YouTuber challenge. I'm finding it so difficult to balance filming with working. If you're a new YouTuber, how are you finding that? And what are some tips? I mean, share them. I'm really finding it difficult. I mean, if you noticed, my upload schedule is Wednesdays and Saturdays. I've missed 2 Saturdays, and so if I miss a Saturday, I try to upload something on a Wednesday, at least once a week. My aim is to just film a couple videos and schedule them and kind of be ahead of the game. But I'm interested to hear how you guys overcome those challenges. Okay, so let's get back into this recipe. So these are dried ingredients. Let's bring our wet ingredients back over here. All right, let me make sure. Yeah, kind of in frame. And we're just gonna take this sweet potato and we're gonna mix it. Now, literally, you could use a stand mixer if you have one, but it's not really one of those recipes that requires a lot of beating. There's no butter to be beaten into sugar. There's no, I mean, this recipe doesn't even have eggs. It's vegan. So there's really not that much beating, and you can literally just do this by hand in a couple of minutes. So here we go. I haven't even prepared my pan yet. Jeez, I will say that the nice thing about using this, feels like it could take a little more liquid. Yeah, it feels that way. Like it feels like it might be very thick, and I don't want it to be thick. But the nice thing about I don't even know what I was about to say. Do you know? I have no clue. But oh, the nice thing about using like a coconut oil or coconut milk is you have that added layer of, you know, flavor. So that's why I tend to like to use that sometimes. But like I said, we're using what we have. Yeah, I'm gonna need some more liquid for this. Definitely need some more liquid. Okay guys, so don't you just hate when you're accustomed to doing something and then the one time for whatever reason it just goes wrong and you don't know why? So I don't know, maybe the sweet potatoes, but they seem like they had, you know, a little bit of liquid content, but for some reason the batter was a little over thick. So I added about a quarter cup more of milk, and this is what I kind of like the batter to look like. I had to use my spoon to get it right in there. And so we're going to scoop that into our our muffin pan or cupcake pan. Like I said, you don't necessarily want it to be, the liquid to be too runny. So we're gonna work with this and see what we come up with. Let's get into it! And we are going to make it our business right about now to spoon that into our pan. I really need to invest in a ice cream scoop, yeah? It's getting out of hand. Because, you know, with the ice cream scoop, like I have to use 2 spoons to do this, and you just want to half fill, don't overfill them. But I guess you know this already if you're a baker. With the ice cream scoop, you know, it has that little thing that just releases whatever it is, the ice cream or the batter or whatever you're trying, you know what I'm talking about, right? But we move and we use what we have to get what we need to get done. There's always another way around a thing. So there we go. There goes my top dripping again. All right. Yeah, so I literally just, like, I have a whole list of videos planned to film, but right now I'm still trying to figure out how to like pace myself and just make sure there's time enough in the day for all that needs to get done and for all that I want to do while still keeping myself centered and grounded. You know, nobody wants to lose their mind in the midst of our daily madnesses. So there we go. Yeah, I can see that one needs some more. That one over there needs some more. This is going to be interesting to see how this comes up, because like I know I said that the batter doesn't need to be how do we put it, very thin, but even though I added the milk, I don't know, man, it almost still feels like it almost still feels like it just absorbed back all that milk. You would swear that this was the first time I was doing this. But you know, what I found is that a lot of times, sometimes there's something that you're accustomed to doing. You have a recipe for doing it, or you've developed a recipe for doing it, and it works, and it's worked over and over again. And then one day, I don't know, maybe you overthink it, maybe you your measurements were a little bit off, maybe you just had an off day. The recipe that's tried and true just fails you, just one day like that. So it happens to the best of us, and we just work with it. Because I'll tell you something also. When I was a couple years back, not just a couple years, a while back, I didn't like having failures in the kitchen. Like, if I made something and it did not come out good, worse if I was making it for someone, or let's say it was like let's say it was like a family family get together or what, and it didn't come out good, I would have not really a meltdown per se, not like a kid having a tantrum, but I would swear, this is not going to the table. I'm gonna toss this, although I never ended up tossing it because I hate wasting food. I'd rather just eat it all myself. But yeah, have you had those moments in the kitchen? I feel like we all have them, especially in the early days when you're learning things. I feel like we all have them, and then you learn that every failure in the kitchen, as in life, is an opportunity to learn something. The something you're about to learn isn't always clear, but in hindsight, sometimes you sit back and you look at something you did in the kitchen, you're like, oh, that's my oven. And you're like, oh, maybe that's where things went wrong. So I just kind of approach things in that way. It's not always going to come out great. The best of them, they won't always share their failures, but the best of them have failures in the kitchen. And it's okay. Unless, of course, you're selling to paying customers. Then it's not so okay. So we're gonna just pop this in the oven. I'm almost tempted. I have some demerara sugar on hand. I'm almost tempted to just sprinkle a little bit of demerara sugar on it. But no, because then that would be double the sugar, and we don't need that. Wow. Guys, do you know what I forgot? Sugar. I forgot sugar. Don't tell anybody. I was supposed to put at least 3/4 cup of sugar in this batter. Yo. I'ma taste this. Yo guys, this thing is not sweet at all. So do I scoop this back out and put the sugar in? What do you think? What do you think? So see what I mean about filming and work? Like, I'm doing this tired. We're gonna put this back in the bowl and we're gonna add some sugar to this sucker. Yes, I'm done laughing at myself. But isn't it funny how that whole train of conversation went, where I was talking to you about flops in the kitchen, and then I mentioned demerara sugar, and then I was like, wait a minute, I didn't put no sugar. And I first thought, okay, there's gonna be sugar and cinnamon on the outside, but sweet potatoes with nothing sweet in the inside, it's not gonna work. If I had some agave, which I don't have, which is what I usually like to use, I would have just put maybe about 1/4 to 1/2 cup in here, but I don't have that. Now I'm gonna use raw cane sugar, and I'm gonna use maybe about, what is this? I think I put 3/4 cup in here, but you can use anywhere. I mean, if you guys notice, I don't really give you hard and fast. I just kind of leave it up to you, because everybody has, their own palate for things, and sugar for some people, this might be too much sugar. If 1/2 cup or 1/4 cup does it for you, use that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with spices. Like, some people may not like cinnamon, they may want to leave the cinnamon all out. So I just tell you the general things that I use, and you work it the way you want to work it. I don't know, but definitely. Why am I using this spoon though? I've lost my mind tonight. Totally lost my mind. But yeah, some sugar got to go in here because sweet potatoes, it's not even like these sweet potatoes, I tasted them before I started using them. They're not really that sweet. Not like, and it's kind of like when you make banana bread, sometimes the bananas aren't that sweet, but somehow with bananas, for me, the longer you kind of let them sit, the more that you'll find, this feels like it needs to, I know I said no stand beater, but this feels like it needs a stand beater, but I'm not about to go there right now. I'm super duper tired. And yeah, I'm not even a mom, but I imagine this is how working moms feel. You work all day and then you come home to cook for your family, and all that stuff gotta get done whether you're tired or not. So that's kind of how I'm viewing the YouTube thing. Like my baby, and all this stuff gotta get done whether I like it or not. And it's gotta get done because I enjoy doing it, first of all, and because it's something that I want to do. So yeah, and now that kind of explains the reason why the darn batter was so thick, because when you melt that sugar down in the oil and the milk, it creates that extra volume. Yo, my head is not on straight tonight at all. Do you see what I'm saying right here? Do you see the difference? Anyways, guys, back on track. Here we go. Back to the spooning thing again. Spoon. We need one spoon. Okay. So here we go. Right there. Right there. Nice. Niceness. Oh, that was a funny one. The old me would have just been like, I don't know if I'm gonna upload this, but why not? We all have flops in the kitchen. I feel like that's too much though. I really need an ice cream scoop, man. Keep saying I'm gonna go into Marshall's and check for an ice cream scoop, and it never happens. But I'm really gonna try to do that this weekend. I need an ice cream scoop. I need something like a pizza. I need a pizza cutter. Just thinking when I had one, but the wheel broke off the handle. So yeah, guys. This was just supposed to be an easygoing video because that's how I felt when I came home. Easygoing. I almost didn't even film anything, and I had to just kind of remind myself, girl, this is how you get into complacency. Don't do that. Don't start it. You know how they say don't start nothing, won't be nothing? Don't even start it. That way, because what happens is you'll say one day, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then you find that becoming your mantra. Every day is I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow. So like, that's why I said, I'm just going to think of this like my baby. Moms, don't be offended, because I know babies are a lot more work, but I'm just trying to think of it in that way so I understand for myself that this is something that's dear to me and I want to be completely committed to it. Some of these got in too much, but you know what? They're going in. Everything in the kitchen isn't always boss. Like when I'm organized, things go a lot smoother than this, but I am not organized today. This was just a spur of the moment thing. I wanted to use up some sweet potatoes that I had there. I had boiled them the other day when making a cake for a client, and I thought I'd use them, and I decided not to use them. And they were in the fridge, and I was like, I don't want to waste them. So we're gonna pop these in the oven. We do have a little bit of batter left. I'm just gonna put that in a little mini pie dish that I have there and bake it by itself. All right, so let's do that. One of these little tart dishes, I got these from Marshall's some years ago, and I love them. I have these ones, and I have the tart ones. I use them for everything. I use them for mini mac and cheese. I use them for mini apple pies, mini tarts. I just use them for everything. Like, so we're gonna have a little mini cake. It's probably gonna, well, I think they'll all finish around the same time. So yeah guys, that's it, and see you on the flip side when they come out of the oven. Alright, see guys, started out as a disaster, but they still came out fine. We're just going to take each of these, dip it lightly in the butter. I have about, I don't know, maybe about 6 tablespoons of butter melted here. If you need more, you add more. And you just dip it in the sugar. I have about how much? I would say half a cup of sugar, raw cane sugar, and to 2 teaspoons of, what you call this thing now, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And we just get that well rolled in and covered. Now you can cover these to the extent you want them covered, but not so much I'm doing them. That's numero uno. Número dos.
Todas esas poses que tú conoces, gracias a mi mujer, ni tu amigo, pero en vivo solo contigo disfruto el show, bebé. Alright, así dime pa' dónde vas.
Thanks so much for vibing with me today, guys. And like I said, if you are experiencing some of these same challenges that I mentioned in the video, please share how you find balance in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. See you next time.